Alright guys, Ciaran from Red Devil Weekly here. Today obviously is deadline day, as you guys know, and today we're just going to kind of round up all of the transfer business concerning Manchester United, but also if you do support other clubs as well, I can update you on that as we go through. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live until the very end of deadline day. Of course, the deadline is 5 PM, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to be live for that amount of time. I was thinking of being live for about kind of the hour before the end of the deadline, but due to the fact that I don't see Manchester United doing that much business anyway, I think I'm probably just going to keep it how it is. But yeah, welcome RB Comps, thanks for joining, really appreciate it. He says breaking. He says Ciaran Dybala spoke for around 2 hours this morning at Constantine despite training having been scheduled for this afternoon. Sarri told his staff that if he had 70 million, he would sign Dybala himself. Well, there you go. That's what he said. I mean, of course, he's trying to get rid of the player, so he's gonna, talk him up as much as he can to try and get the move, of course. And 70 million, as you quoted there, is probably a decent fee, but at the same time, if he doesn't want to come to the club, I just don't think, he'd want to leave. He also said Mandzukic arrived at Juventus training 30 minutes ago. It looks like that, I did see earlier in the day that Mario Mandzukic, Man United had stopped their pursuit of Mario Mandzukic. So, I don't know. I think ultimately we are done in the transfer window, I have to say. I think we're done. So, obviously, if Mandzukic was to sign for United, some United fans would be happy. A lot of United fans probably wouldn't be that happy as well. But at the same time, he would have been a bit of a backup signing. I'm not sure whether he'd realistically be the number 9 that we're looking for. But of course, as well, if you are just joining us as well, Romelu Lukaku is in an Inter Milan shirt. Inter Milan's official Twitter account posted a picture of Lukaku or a video of Romelu Lukaku in an Inter Milan shirt. So that deal is completed, and just kind of an official announcement awaits from the Inter Milan side of things. But it's a bit disappointing that we weren't able to reinvest that money, or it looks like we weren't able to anyway. Still, of course, an hour left, but I'm not holding my breath, to be honest with you. Welcome, Krishna, and welcome to Football Hub. Thanks for joining. He says 6 out of 10 window for quality. We'll go through that in just a second. RB Comps, alright, he's actually trying to keep Dybala. Well, to be fair, reports earlier in the window suggested that Sarri wanted to get rid of Paulo Dybala, but maybe he's changed his mind. But of course, you probably know more than anyone, mate, whether he'd want to keep Dybala or sell him. So yeah, to be fair, this stream is probably going to be more about reviewing Manchester United's transfer news rather than bringing you any kind of updates. There are a few deals yet to go through. Of course, just now, Romelu Lukaku's deal to Inter Milan has finally gone through. He is an Inter Milan player. He is wearing the Inter Milan shirt. So, Inter Milan have signed Romelu Lukaku for Manchester United. We're expecting around £75 million for him to come in, which doesn't look like it's going to be reinvested. That's the only problem. 1 hour is remaining in the transfer window. Well, 1 hour, 6 minutes remaining. The deadline, of course, is 5 PM UK time. Welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining. It's obviously not going to sign anyone now. I don't think we are as well. I agree. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to sign any more players. So, I think in this stream we are going to talk about just the transfer window in general, what you guys think about it, and if any news does come up, I will be able to bring it to you live on the stream. But I'm going to get started. Obviously, we've signed 3 players. It looks like Marcos Rojo as well. That deal, isn't fully completed yet, but it looks like Marcos Rojo will be going to Everton for £25 million, which, to be fair to Ed Woodward, isn't too bad bit of business. I think a lot of United fans, if you had told them that we were going to sell Marcos Rojo for for 25 million, I think they'd be very, very happy with that indeed. So again, 25 million for Rojo, you got about 75 million for Lukaku. It's about 100 million from those 2 deals. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to reinvest that money. Of course, there's an hour left, so you never know what could happen, but I think, let's face it, it's not going to happen. But we signed 3 players, obviously Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and also Daniel James, and for me those are 3 decent additions. I have to say Harry Maguire was probably the best of them, really much needed addition in that centre back spot. You've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well, who is being absolutely, it's just really crucial as well. So at the same time, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, in terms of defensive reinforcements, they were very decent signings, and I think they will have a good time of it in the Premier League this season for Manchester United. However, what people aren't very happy about is that, yes, we have addressed the problem area of the defence. There are other problem areas, and the midfield, as we've seen in pre-season without Paul Pogba, which it could well be a possibility that we see Paul Pogba leave Manchester United after the 5 PM deadline, because other clubs around Europe, like Real Madrid, have until the 2nd of September to sign players. So if we do get rid of Paul Pogba, we could be in huge trouble, if we don't bring in a midfielder. And to be honest with you guys, it doesn't look like we're going to bring in anyone else. So it's a shame, really, that we couldn't reinvest the money that we got, I'm going to be honest. Mr. Joshy, thanks for joining, Joshy. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad we have sold Lukaku. Good riddance. I'm laughing. 77 million. He's only worth 20. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, Inter Milan bought him for 77 million. 80 million euros for Lukaku. So, in theory, we kind of did get the money back that we bought that we spent on him. So, in that way, it is very good business. But, in the same time, it's just I don't know, it's just disappointing that we weren't able to reinvest that money. To get £70 million for Lukaku, and to not reinvest that money, I just think, wouldn't it have been so clever from the Man United board to at least put in a bid for Bruno Fernandes? Because I'm telling you right now, if we had bidded £65 million for Bruno Fernandes, he would have come crawling on his knees to Manchester United. And also, Sporting Lisbon wanted to sell him. Sporting Lisbon wanted to sell Bruno Fernandes. We had such a huge opportunity to do it, and we didn't do it. And it's gonna bite them in the arse, I have to say. The reaction on Twitter, as you guys have probably seen, has been mental from United fans, and I totally agree. I totally agree with them. Welcome Phil, welcome Renami MUFC, thanks for joining, and also welcome Ciaran Buster Sport as well. Renami MUFC says nothing says like a good stream on the go. Exactly. I wish I could bring you some good news, but unfortunately, doesn't look like there's any coming from Manchester United point of view. Obviously, there's an hour left, so unless they're going to announce something out of the blue like they've done in the past, I don't think it's going to happen. Glazers out, says Phil. I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I don't think we're going to buy anyone, guys. I have to say, if you are watching expecting Man United to sign anyone, I don't think we are. So we're just going to have a chat about the Man United transfer window in general. Which signing is the signing that we've made that most excites you as well? For me, I would say Harry Maguire, although Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James definitely close seconds, because I think Daniel James is going forward. Is a very talented player, someone who's very exciting, and someone I would love to see tear it up in the Premier League in the future. And Wan-Bissaka as well has had an amazing pre-season. So if they can have a similar pre-season to what they're going to have in the Premier League, I think they'll do very well. Kyle says, F off United owners. Won by someone, I take over your job. Exactly. I mean, mate, you'd probably be better than them. You really would probably be better. By the way, guys, if you are watching and are a Man United fan and do enjoy match previews, reviews, all that good stuff, please do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. We are on 750 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. Our aim for the start of the season is 800 subscribers, so if we could hit that, would be absolutely fantastic. So if you are a Man United fan and you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka, Phil Mitchell says, Wan-Bissaka. And I think Wan-Bissaka for me is a decent signing as well. He does excite me. He is someone who I think the board and Ed Woodward and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have come together and made a really good addition to the squad. £50 million, yes, is quite steep, but at the same time, for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for the way he looks and the fact he's kind of Premier League proven as well, it looks good. It does look good. Welcome, Crazy Be the Gaming. Thanks for joining as well. it's just very, very annoying that we weren't able to get a centre midfielder in, because I'm telling you now, guys, if Pogba leaves, I think we're going to find it hard to get top 4. I really do. I mean, with the squad that we've got currently, do you guys think we can get top 4? I think we can definitely challenge for top 4. There's no doubt about that. And I think for me as well, it all depends on whether Rashford and Martial start firing. I think if Rashford and Martial have a good season, which they could have a really good season, obviously it looks like if we're not going to bring in a striker, Martial is going to have that number 9 shirt back at Manchester United. So I think if that does happen, then if Martial and Rashford have good seasons, then it could be good for us. But if they don't fire and they're not clinical enough, it could be very, very difficult for Manchester United. Welcome Ronnie, thanks for joining. He says, wouldn't it have been better to loan out Mason Greenwood to a championship club before putting so much pressure on him? That is a really, really good point, because now that Lukaku's gone and it doesn't look like we're going to replace him, now Mason Greenwood is going to be expected to work miracles at Manchester United. And to be honest with you, I don't see that happening. I think he's a really, really good talent. But at 17 years old, to have all that pressure on you, it's going to be very, very difficult for him. But I wish him the best of luck, of course. And also Daniel James as well. It puts a lot of pressure on the likes of Daniel James. And obviously, I don't think James, in my opinion anyway, is going to start Premier League games. I think he will start in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup and things like that, but I don't think realistically Daniel James is a Premier League starter right now. So I think it's just putting pressure on these sort of young players isn't going to be a good thing. And I think for me as well, as I said, I think it would have been a lot more clever from Manchester United point of view to reinvest the money that we saw from Romelu Lukaku, because surely they know the reaction on Twitter right now, on all social medias, in regards to the hate that the club is getting right now. Surely, if they're clever enough from a business point of view and from I don't know what to say. It's just, I really think that they should have done something. They should have at least attempted to do something. But the fact they haven't attempted at all to do any business on deadline day, as I said, the fans are going mental, and I'm with them. I really am. Welcome on the Off the Pitch. Welcome Rodney. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Make sure you do check out his channel as well. Really, really good stuff on there. We did do a bit of a transfer stream on there, a bit of a transfer video. So make sure you do check that out on his channel. Really, really good stuff. Phil says Spurs make it to the Champions League final and their owners go out and revamp the squad. Man United, the biggest club in the world, finished 6th and the owners have a net spend of 100 million. Mate, I tell you, once the Lukaku's deal's gone through and the Rojo deal as well, which I expect Marcos Rojo to be an Everton player by the end of the window, once those deals go through, our net spend goes down to around 20-30 million. It's not good at all. It's not good at all, really. Maybe they're thinking about doing it kind of from transfer window to transfer window, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem enough in my opinion. But there you go. Joshy says if Pogba leaves, will not get top 4 as we did not replace Herrera, which hurts as he put in 100% every game he did. And that's the thing with Ander Herrera, he put in the effort, and even when he was having a bad game, he really, really, is trying for the team, really gave it his all for the badge, and you can't say that for many players, really, and it's sad to say, it really is sad to say. But there you go, and I think unless we do anything in the next kind of 50 minutes, the only thing you can hope for is maybe the Lukaku deal is gonna spring Ed Woodward into life, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think he's probably already on his yacht in Monaco or something like that already as we speak. Yash and Dan and Man United Fan TV, thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Dan says we ain't getting top 4. I'd be surprised if we got top 8. Yeah, I know. At this rate, I mean, the squad we've got, it's got some decent players in it, but to be honest with you, we didn't. It's really, really frustrating because we didn't strengthen when we had the opportunity to strengthen. We had the opportunity to bring in the likes of Bruno Fernandes because they were wanting £65 million. How could we not do that deal? I don't understand it. Maybe I don't understand the Man United wage or the kind of financial structure at Manchester United. But I do not understand why we didn't even put a bid in for Bruno Fernandes. I just don't understand it whatsoever. Yasha's, what a tragedy. Yeah, I know, mate. I mean, obviously there's still about an hour left, but I doubt anything's going to happen. So we're just having a talk about Man United transfers in general, really. How would you guys rate the transfer window out of 10 as well? Let me know how you guys would rate it out of 10. We've already had a 6 out of 10 from the Football Hub as well. So yeah, please do rate the transfer window right now out of 10. What would you rate it? For me, I'd probably have to go with a 6 out of 10 as well. I think ultimately we have strengthened defensively, which is brilliant. You know, we've done well in terms of strengthening defensively, but there are now much more problem areas in terms of the midfield, in terms of the striking options as well, with not replacing Romelu Lukaku. So for me, I probably, you know what, I'm going to take it down to a 5. I think I'm going to give it a 5 because yes, we've strengthened the defence in really well, but at the same time, just not enough in my opinion. But all you can hope for is that we continue this rebuild in the next in January transfer window and also in the summer transfer window. But ideally, we would want to do some more business. But there you go. Dan says he goes with 3. RB Combs goes with 4. The Full Hub says, sorry Ciaran, I was out of the room while you said a vid collab. Oh, I'll message you after the stream, mate. Don't worry about that. I'm sure we can do something with that. But yeah, I'll message you after the stream. Ronnie says, yeah, in reality we need Bruno and a forward if we want to get to the top 4. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. We found a new anchor, but Herrera out and Lukaku out makes us weaker. Well, that's the thing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a press conference said that if we were to sell players this summer, we were going to replace them. And it doesn't seem like that's happened. We've sold, 2 of our starting players in a centre midfielder and a striker, and we haven't replaced them. So I don't know what happened with that. I really don't know what happened with that. I mean, I'm not going to blame Solskjaer. I think there's some people who are blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm not going to blame him. I don't think it's his fault, to be honest with you. You might disagree with me, and if you do, feel free to let me know. But in my opinion, I don't think we should be going out and blaming Solskjaer for what's happened in this transfer window. I think he's definitely gone to Ed Woodward with a list of targets, said this is my plan, these are the players who I need to do the plan, and If the club and the negotiating team can't deliver that, then it can't be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. It can't be. So, I mean, I've seen a few fans kind of blaming him and saying he'll be sacked by Christmas and things like that, but I don't understand why you turn on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even if the season does start to go tits up, because is it really his fault? Is it really his fault? But anyway, Phil says Phil Jones has survived 16 transfer windows. That is mental, isn't it, Phil? It's absolutely mental. I mean, it's hard to believe, really. It's hard to believe, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of just a sign of where this club is at the moment. I'm not sure how much longer Phil Jones has as a Manchester United player, but I would not be surprised if he makes it to 20 transfer windows. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does rate Phil Jones. We saw it in pre-season and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Currently James Cooper is talking right now, but I doubt anything's going to happen. Sorry guys, just listening. Dan says, I don't understand how United regime could think Bruno ain't worth 64 million in today's market. That's an absolute bargain, isn't it, Ollie? Absolute bargain. It isn't Ollie. It's the Glazers scum and their rent boy Woodward. I mean, you put it right. I mean, I said I don't understand whatsoever how a 65 million bid for just 65 million for Bruno Fernandes, someone who we desperately need, someone who we so clearly desperately need at Manchester United. I don't understand why we didn't go for it. I totally agree with you. Renami MUFC says Ollie could only do so much for transfers. It's Ed and the board's fault for not getting the targets. Again, I totally agree with you, because it's not Ole who's going to the boardroom and kind of talking about all these things. It's Ed Woodward, it's everyone else in the negotiating team. So it's, I don't know. It's frustrating. Welcome Dazza and welcome Fergie United. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like as well, guys, if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely fantastic as well. And let me know your thoughts on the transfer window so far. Which signing that Man United have completed excites you? And also, Just rate it out of 10. I want to hear your ratings out of 10 as well. Dan says, Glazer rather. It's our eyes that are glazed when we hear their bullshit. Exactly. Oh, welcome, Darren Connor. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. He says, good window for the Glazers. So they can use the money to buy some more shopping malls. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I could not agree with you more, to be honest with you. As I said, to round up what's kind of gone on, Romelu Lukaku is finally signed for Inter Milan. The deal has been done. We're going to be getting around £75 million for Romelu Lukaku. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be reinvesting that money. Elsewhere, Marcos Rojo seemingly looks like he's going to be signing for Everton as well, subject to a medical and personal terms. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I think Marcos Rojo, £25 million for him. If we could combine the Lukaku money, the Rojo money, that's around £100 million coming into Manchester United. Now, unfortunately, I don't see that money being reinvested, but that does mean the net spend for Manchester United in this transfer window goes down to about 25 million, and in a transfer window where it was being billed as this great rebuild by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it just doesn't seem to have happened. It just hasn't happened. Welcome, Philip. Thanks for joining as well. He says, hey man, what's up? Do you think we'll sign someone? I doubt it, mate. I really do doubt it at this stage. Of what I've been hearing, I doubt it. I think the only thing that we're going to be seeing on deadline day is outgoings. As I said, Romelu Lukaku has signed his deal with Inter Milan, and we have got a cool £75 million from that. Marcos Rojo currently taking a medical at Everton as well. So deals happening concerning Manchester United, but no incomings at Manchester United. It's seemingly looking like, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen on that front. Earlier in the day, we were linked to Mario Mandzukic. United did pull out of that deal. And it looks like Mandzukic is well pulled out of it. But a lot of United fans didn't want to see Mandzukic pull out of the deal. So there weren't too many United fans who were not very happy with the fact that we did pull out of the Mario Mandzukic deal. But it would have only cost us probably around 15 million to bring Mandzukic to Manchester United. And whilst he is, 33 years old and, he probably is on the decline, at the same time, to have him as a backup, as a plan B strategy, I don't think would have been the worst thing. But of course, we'll see what happens with that. Mo says, welcome Mo, by the way, thanks for joining. He says, hi Ciaran, happy with the defensive signings. However, couldn't be more disappointed with the lack of investment in our midfield. I couldn't agree with you more. He also says our midfield is weaker than it was last season. I totally agree. I think, ultimately, we've sold Ander Herrera, someone who was a consistent performer for us, and we just haven't been able to bring anyone else in. And the fact, obviously it's good. It is good that we are kind of, getting rid of deadwood players, but at the same time, if we don't replace it, then it's not going to happen. Well, there you go. Talking about ridiculous transfer rumours, another transfer rumour that's seemingly come in is that Odion Ighalo might be on his way to Manchester United. I mean, that's ridiculous. A few sources are reporting it, and the Nigerian newspaper, Busy Buddy Sport, apparently are reporting it. So I wouldn't take it for anything really. But there you go. Maybe we might see Odion Ighalo at Manchester United. I doubt it. But yeah, I remember you, Philip Anderson. Actually, I do remember you. From the Christensen's preview, I do remember. So yeah. Also, you did say you were going to that game. Did you enjoy the game? Of course, United did win in the last minute through a penalty through Juan Mata. If you guys don't remember. So yeah. Thanks for coming back, Philip. I really appreciate it. I hope you did enjoy that game. Rodney says earlier, Man United were pulling out of a little car park only to crash the car. Oh goodness me, I know it's been that sort of day. Ronnie says, can't we loan Phil out with a buyout clause, or are his wages that high? Gotta start cutting out the deadwood and freeing up some money for the future. There is also the financial fair play rules to think of. I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, Marcos Rojo looks to be on his way out. I think, loaning Phil Jones out, for me, I don't think would be an option for Manchester United. I think if we are going to get rid of a player, we're going to get rid of them for good. And I think, especially someone of Phil Jones, I was going to say Phil Jones quality, but I think that is a bit of a reach. I think of someone of Phil Jones kind of, I don't see him going out on loan. I feel like if United are going to get rid of him, we're going to try and get money for him. So Yeah, it hasn't worked out for Phil Jones, but I think if we were to get rid of him, I don't think he'd be on a loan. Mo says the media are just reaching now. They've been reaching in the past 4 or 5 seasons. Exactly, I totally agree with you. Phil says Bruno would have been perfect. We need someone who could shoot outside the box. Exactly, but I think also we have the need for a creative midfielder, and I think Paul Pogba, you know, when he is in the team, he's a decent player and he does make us look creative, but without Paul Pogba in the team, if he picks up a long-term injury, which could easily happen, we're left with no one really. We're left with Fred, McTominay, Pereira, and you know they are exciting players, but they're nowhere near good enough to take a team to the top 4. So at the same time, it's frustrating that we weren't able to bring Bruno Fernandes in, and it looks like we're not going to be able to bid it. Well, it looks like we're not going to bid for anyone else. So there you go. I feel like we just have to kind of go with what we've got really. And obviously Romelu Lukaku has gone as well. I will bring you up to date when Marcos Rojo potentially when Marcos Rojo does complete his move to Manchester United. But Lukaku, I'm sure, will be very, very happy with his move away because, obviously he's gonna play every single game. He's gonna be the focal point at Inter Milan as well. Now, obviously that does leave the future of Mario Icardi as well in the balance because they're both playing in a similar position. And I do have a feeling that Juventus may go back in for Mario Icardi. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do have a feeling that Mario Icardi probably will not be an Inter Milan player at the end of the transfer window. Phil Mitchell says teams know how to stop us, just man mark Pogba. Exactly, I totally agree. Philip says it was really nice seeing all the players, but the match was pretty boring. But that goal at the end felt really good, and I went home with a smile on my face. So yeah, it was nice. I totally agree.
I just want to bring some positivity. Arsenal have not got their deals over the line yet, and there's only 44 minutes left. If they don't, we have a chance at top 4. Our chance at top 4 rests in the next 43 minutes because they haven't got the deals over the line yet.
Okay, there we go. So apparently Arsenal have not got the deals over the line. Thank you very much from Owen Coyle. I'm sure we'll be back to him a bit later in the day. But to be honest with you, I don't see any incomings coming in at Manchester United.
Outgoings.
Outgoings, yeah, potentially Marcos Rojo, as we've been talking about. But it's been the transfer window of maybes. Rodney says, now that is breaking news. There you go. Breaking news. Well, Arsenal still haven't got their deals over the line, so we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I thought they were already in the medical stage, but I might be wrong. But Philip, oh yeah, you were trying to talk to the players. I know it's pretty difficult on pre-season, especially because the players are in kind of such high demand with all the worldwide fan base, of course, wanting a piece of all the players. So that's all right. I mean, I'm sure you will get another opportunity. Mo says, Ciaran, did you see Pogba's Snapchat a couple of days ago? Posted a pic of him and Benzema with hourglass caption, implying that they'd be reunited soon. I mean, I'm not 100% sure whether that was kind of a real Snapchat story or not. I'm not sure where that came from his account. I personally don't follow Paul Pogba on Snapchat, so I wouldn't 100% know, but I don't think it was real. A bit of breaking news as well, which broke around 2 hours ago, so it's not really breaking news. But it looks like Zaha, for about the 5th transfer window in a row, will be staying at Crystal Palace and won't get his move. I mean, some people were saying we should have bid for him. I don't think we should have bid for him. I think £80 million on Zaha would have been even more of a waste of money than someone like a Mandzukic. But you guys might have a different opinion. If you do, please let me know in the live chat. And like I said, please leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new as well. But ultimately, I don't see any more incoming in at Manchester United. Rashford says, yo, thanks for joining, Rashford. Really appreciate it. Moses Lowe must be following the wrong PogSnap. I've no idea. As I said, I don't even know what his Snapchat code is or anything like that, so I would not know. But David Luiz potentially going to Arsenal, although that deal's not over the line yet. Kieran Tierney coming to Arsenal, although it's still in the medical stage. It's still in the medical stage, but ultimately, I think they're going to get those deals over the line. I think with Arsenal strengthening, Chelsea not strengthening, but they do look a decent outfit. Spurs strengthening. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to finish in that top 4 this season. But you got to have hope. You got to have hope at least. I mean, as I said, it all for me depends on whether Rashford and Martial will fire this season.
Arsenal can get those deals over the line as well.
I think Arsenal, with all due respect, I do think Arsenal are going to get these deals over the line.
Well, we've only got 40 minutes left.
Philip says next season you should go to a game and do a reaction from the match. Just a tip, mate. Yeah, I mean, I would love to try and get to a match this season. Hopefully, I will be able to do that. We'll have to obviously organise it, but yeah, if I do get to a match, I will, try and attempt to do that. So we'll see if I'm able to get there. Matthew Jones, one of the stream, thanks for joining. Obviously, one half of the duo that is United Fan Focus. Please do check them out if you haven't already. Really, really good channel. Link in the description down below. But welcome to you, Matthew, on this fine Thursday afternoon, or well, in terms of the transfer window, probably an average Thursday afternoon. Rasmus says, I don't think it's a bad window. What makes us disappointed is the media. They being the problem, linking us with players we're not in for. I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, the news media do kind of... It makes a mockery. It does make a mockery of it. Phil says, what is it like at Old Trafford? I went to the AC Milan game, but I live in Bristol and I can't afford to get up to Old Trafford. The AC Milan game's atmosphere was a bit dead. Yeah, of course, on pre-season, I think some of the atmospheres will be a bit dead, but I think... ultimately, the atmosphere at Old Trafford, I haven't been for a while, but the atmosphere at Old Trafford has notoriously been pretty dead for a while now. I think only if you're able to go to the big games is it kind of, really, really loud. But ultimately, if you just go to a normal dead rubber Premier League game, I think the atmosphere isn't great. So hopefully they do something to kind of sort out as well. Philip says, it just popped up for me that Lukaku now is sold for 65 million to Inter. So that is some breaking news, I guess. Breaking, there you go. Breaking news. I'm not sure whether it's 65 million or 85 million.
I thought it was
72. I said, 72 million apparently. Matthew Jones, he moved back to the UK. I've actually been seeing, I've been seeing, I think it was on your, I'm not sure if it was your or your brother's Snapchat story. Obviously, moving back to the UK. Decent.
Ciaran, I'm
in the motherland.
I'm receiving intel that we are going to make a replacement now for Romelu Lukaku. It's a mystery transfer. It's according to TalkSport. There is one other player that we're linked to that we will do a deadline day deal.
That's absolutely rubbish. I'm not even going to say that. I mean, they probably heard it anyway. But Philip says from the football. You got the Foot Mob app. To be fair, I have used the Foot Mob app, and it's
Ben
decent.
Godfrey in your fantasy team as well.
Okay, but yeah, if you did hear that, it's a load of rubbish, as usual. So don't worry about that. But anyway. He also is trying to put Ben Godfrey in the transfer thing. Mo says, lol who? Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, there you go. The mystery signing is definitely not going to be that.
It's going to be Draughty Devil.
No, can we not... Okay. Well, to be fair, Robert Lewandowski did say he was unhappy at Bayern Munich, so maybe that's the deal that's going on under wraps. It's not even funny, though, is it? It's not even funny. But yeah, look, it's going to be... it's not going to be an interesting end to the window. There's about 37 minutes left. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be live for the whole 37 minutes. What's the point? But as I said...
Arsenal still yet to get Tierney and Upamecano over the line.
Phil Mitchell says, I think Mason will have a good season. He's ready for the Prem and can be better than Rashford and Tony in the future. I agree. I feel like, Mason Greenwood, I don't think he's going to start Premier League games, but I think he will have a lot to say off the bench for Manchester United. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Philip says, wait a sec, you're not Droid Devil, are you? I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. I think Droid Devil's actually live on the United stand right now. So if you want to watch him, please do feel free to do so. But I'm not Droid Devil. I'm not Droid Devil. Arsenal are going to get the deals over the line. They're in the medical stage. I'm sorry if he continues to waffle on about that. Jim White's there. We've got about half an hour left. Any more news on the mystery signing while we're here?
Yeah, we have a bit more news. So the mystery signing is Portuguese, and he currently plies his trade in the Portuguese league. Now, obviously, as you know, we have to cross to Geraint Jones, who's going to give us the latest on Arsenal.
Anyway, Rashford says the rebuild will go correctly. We should blame those unreliable sources to try and make up stories, and we can't sign all the players. I'm disappointed with Bruno deal. I'm grateful and happy with our signings. Yeah, I think the signings we've made are decent signings. There's no doubt about that. But obviously, the fact that we haven't strengthened in midfield, we haven't strengthened our forward line, especially after getting rid of two players who really kind of, were important to us in those two positions, and we haven't replaced them, is very, very disappointing. Welcome Man United 120. Thanks for joining once again. He says, do you think our youth products are going to be fine? This is going to be their biggest test. I think, it's going to be an exciting year for the youth products. I do think, and I think Mason Greenwood, Chong, Angel Gomez as well, will have a part to play this year. Will have a part to play, definitely. Ronnie says, David Luiz is not really going to do a lot for Arsenal's defence, I think. It's only weak point now. If they got Upamecano, that would have been locked for the top 4. He's a beast. I mean, he's a very, very decent player. But, of course, I think Arsenal went on the cheap side there. I think they did. And I think I'm not too worried about David Luiz. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, obviously, as my agent here says, that deal's not over the line just yet, but I think it will be over the line come the 5 PM deadline. Phil says, do you like the United stand? I think, they've done brilliantly. I mean, they are now the number 1 official Man United channel, which is amazing considering, they were only really formed, 3 or 4 years ago. So to do that is absolutely fantastic, and you have to, tip your hat off to Mark and everyone there. Really, really good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think they've done really, really well. The Full Hub says he likes it. Phil says, now watch the United stand like 20 minutes ago, and their stream was boring. Your stream's better. Well, I can't comment on that, but thanks very much for being here, Philip. Really appreciate it. Rasmus and Lukaku officially an Inter player. Yep, we brought you that transfer news about 20 minutes ago. But yeah, Romelu Lukaku, is an Inter Milan player.
He used to be Don Lukaku, now he's just Romelu Lukaku.
But we have got breaking news on a potential replacement for Romelu Lukaku.
Unfortunately, the deal has broken down to bring Cristiano Ronaldo back to Old Trafford. However, there is one deal in the pipeline, and that's Leicester's James Maddison. We understand that he has left Leicester training ground to sign for Man United. This is all according to TalkSport.
This is all according to rubbish. But yeah, James Maddison, he would have been a decent signing, I have to say. If we had gone in for him, gone in for Maguire, a double swoop from Leicester, we could have given them about 150 million. Who would have complained? Who would have complained? But there you go. As I said, guys, all jokes aside, I don't see any new signings coming in today. But yeah, please do rate your transfer window out of 10. Matthew goes with a 6 out of 10 there. 6 out of 10 is quite a popular reading. The Football Hub went with 6 out of 10 as well. A few of you went for kind of 3, 4 out of 10. I went for 5 out of 10. But you never know. You never ever know. Philip says I have to go now because I'm going to football training soon, so I'll see you in another stream, mate. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks for joining, Philip. Really appreciate it as always, and hope you enjoy your football training, and hopefully there's some ridiculous transfer news that comes in about Manchester United in the next 30 minutes, but I doubt it, to be honest with you. But anyway, but thanks for joining, Philip. Really appreciate it. And it's about half an hour left now. Half an hour left for United to do any sort of business. I think it's done and dusted. I think it's done and dusted from a United point of view. But if you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel, because even after the transfer window, I'll be bringing you videos throughout the week, match previews, match reviews, all that other good stuff, but which a good Manchester United fan channel will provide you with. So yeah, please do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. And I hope you're enjoying your day, of course, and even if the transfer window isn't really kind of going our way, hopefully you're enjoying your day anyway. Manchester United 12120 says, this is a real shit show. Edward Wood is really good at getting us tractor deals and official mug cups in Vietnam, but man, we are bad at transfers. That's the thing. I mean, imagine what we could have done if we'd actually just paid the £80 million for Harry Maguire, a month earlier than we did, because if we'd done that and we had 3 players in the bank for pre-season, we would have been able to bring in another player, I'm sure of it. But ultimately, we did the Maguire deal too late. And if we knew we were going to pay the £80 million anyway, why didn't we just pay it for Maguire earlier on? I don't understand it. And if we'd done the Maguire deal earlier, I think we would have signed more players. JS8 says, yo, we need to sign someone. Would I hate him? I know. I think a lot of United fans are feeling the same thing, JS8. But thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. Phil says, I know Rashford is still young, but it's got to be a big season for him. He has played regular Prem football for 4 years and hasn't got over the 10 goals he needs to prove himself this season. I totally agree. I think now Rashford, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's signed the new contract. He's now going to be the main focal point. I think now the fact we haven't brought in a replacement for Romelu Lukaku suggests to me that it's going to be either Martial or Rashford that gets the number 9 shirt at Manchester United. So one of those players is going to be the focal point striker for Manchester United. So they've got huge expectations on their shoulders. Rata says, remember when Pogba can leave after Wolves and Chelsea game. Spain transfer window closes at the end of August. If he does, then 210 million goes to Glazer's pocket with the Lukaku money. I totally agree, and I think we should have had that in mind. And I think Pogba could easily hand in a transfer request. If he does so, we are in trouble because we can't replace him until at least January. And in January, not too many high-profile players, like coming to Manchester United. So. Or not too many high-profile players, want to leave. So, there you go. I mean, it's going to be difficult for us. And I think, unless we make a shock bid in the next 30 minutes, which isn't going to happen, then I think, in terms of the midfield, we have failed in terms of strengthening it. Skulls101 on stream, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. He says, in before the rest of our midfield gets sold to Europe after the deadline. I mean, that's what I was just saying. If that does happen, we are in trouble. We're in trouble. But... Ed Woodward knows best, I guess. Manchester 12120 says, just look at the Cancelo deal for Man City. It came in the middle of a whole Dybala thing. They were proper about it and freaking sold Danilo for Cancelo. Wow, that's an amazing deal. It was a very good bit of business from Juventus, to be fair, and also Man City to bring in João Cancelo. Cancelo was also linked to Manchester United before, of course, we brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I think they've done a really good bit of business. And also, I mean, Man City didn't even need to strengthen, let's face it. They won the league with about 98 points last season. They didn't really need to bring in these sort of signings, but they've done it, and they're going to be a stronger team for it. Skull says, don't worry, Jones is versatile. Yeah, I know. He can play everywhere. I mean, to be fair, defensive midfielder, you stick him in there, who knows? Phil says, Pogba and Scott are the only midfielders that are good enough. Yeah, I mean... That's the thing. I think I do agree with you. I think Pogba and Scott McTominay realistically are the only two midfielders that are good enough. But in the end of the day, we're just gonna have to stretch them out. And if we don't, well, I mean, if realistically, I think it's going to be difficult for our midfield to go up against many of the other midfielders or midfields in the top 6. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ed Woodward and the negotiating team know best without, not signing a midfielder. They know best. So, unless we get some sort of ridiculous unveiling after the transfer window happens, which isn't going to happen, we're going to have really rubbish midfield. Without Paul Pogba, at least. Skull says, might be a good chance to use the youth, though. I mean, that's the only thing. Obviously, we are going to have to now really use the youth and really kind of, see what they're made of. And I think especially people like Mason Greenwood now, because our most experienced forward player is Anthony Martial, who's 23 years old. How does that work? How does that work that our most experienced forward player is Anthony Martial, a 23-year-old striker? It's, I don't know. Phil says I would play him in midfield 3 of Angel Gomez, Paul Pogba and Scott McSauce. Angel Gomez has looked very good in pre-season, actually, so... Who knows? I mean, I would like to see Gomez be given a go in the Premier League. In my opinion, I feel like Solskjaer is probably going to start a similar team to what we saw against AC Milan. Manchester 12120 says, is it even worth it for De Gea to re-sign? I mean, the defence has been kind of sorted, but we're in no way competing with Liverpool and Man City. Exactly. I mean, if David Gea does decide to stay on with us, I think he's a legend already. The fact he's put up with what he's put up with down the years, but at the same time, he's if he signs on again, I mean, fair play to him. He deserves to be in a lot better place than Manchester United right now. He should have got his move to Madrid. And to be honest with you, I thought this summer David De Gea was going to get his move to Madrid, but of course that didn't seem to materialise. So I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting transfer window, but not for Manchester United. Once again, we are the bridesmaid. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And that is what happens on transfer deadline day. The only two things that are going on with Manchester United are Lukaku and Marcos Rojo both being kind of sold from the club. Which, thing is, right, we are getting rid of some deadwood players. I mean, we've got rid of Herrera, Lukaku, and Marcos Rojo, as well as Antonio Valencia. These sort of players, which a lot of people would class as deadwood players. So I'm sure that a lot of United fans are saying that is a positive, kind of thing, a positive from this transfer window. But at the same time, you need to kind of replace those players with better players, and we haven't done that. Welcome Maxington Garfield, thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. If you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Here's the score prediction for the Chelsea game. Wow, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Tomorrow night as well, I will be tomorrow night I will be doing a Manchester United season preview with a few guests as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But my predictions for the Chelsea game, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Manchester United. I think it's going to be close, but I feel like United are just going to come out on top. Chelsea, I mean, they've got some really, really good young players, but at the same time, I feel like the fact that they haven't been able to strengthen their team might kind of catch up with them. So we'll see what happens, but I do think United are going to win 2-1 against Chelsea, but I could be absolutely wrong. Manchester United 12120, thanks for joining, really appreciate it, and thanks for your support as always. No worries. To be honest with you, with about 20 minutes left, 25 minutes left of this transfer deadline day, I don't see United bringing anyone in, so I wouldn't blame you if you logged off, to be honest with you. But it'd be absolutely mad if we did announce something, but I doubt it. I really do doubt it at this point in time. But surely the club can see how angry, most of the United fans are. Surely they can see that. So the only saving grace would be if they see that and they decide to act. But I don't think they're going to act. And I think we are going to stay how it is. And I think we're going to have Solskjaer tomorrow saying, we wish we could have gotten a few more players, but ultimately I'm happy with the squad we've got. And it's going to be very, very, it's going to be very, very disappointing in my opinion. Maxington, where are we finishing with this midfield? It's a good question. I think we'll probably still get into the top 6, but I think maybe 5th or 6th realistically. I think 4th, we could potentially get 4th, but I just doubt it. I doubt it. It's going to be very, very difficult. So yeah. Obviously this midfield, with Pogba in it, I think it's definitely a top 4 midfield, but without Pogba in it, it looks very, very ordinary. I think without Pogba in that midfield, ultimately Leicester and Wolves have a better midfield than us. So, that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. So there you go. But no more news regarding Manchester United at the moment. I'm going to be honest with you. Man United just announced that obviously Lukaku has gone to Inter Milan. But a lot of people, as you can see on Twitter, are not very happy. They're not very happy with Manchester United. And the only thing I can hope for really at this stage is a potential loan deal or something like that with a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But I doubt we're going to get it. I doubt we're going to see a replacement. I mean, they say that they're going to continue the rebuild in January, but they had so much time to do it in this summer, and they left it so late. And this is where we are right now. This is the situation we're in right now, and it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. But, we should realistically, we shouldn't have got our hopes up. I mean, I shouldn't have got my hopes up, really. But there you go. It's, I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say, really. I don't think anything's going to happen. Ed Woodward, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, remain very, very quiet about transfers and potential transfers. So unfortunately, I don't see anything happening. Is Woodward responsible for Ole speaking about ruthlessness in the window and quality of players that were going to come in? I think it could have been, but I feel like also Ed Woodward probably wasn't very happy with that in a sense, because it put a lot of pressure on him, and we know from previous transfer windows that he can't deliver on his promises. So, I mean, as I said, I don't think we should be blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for this. I don't think it's his fault at all. I think it's Woodward. I think it's the negotiating team at Manchester United's fault. yeah. I mean, the only thing you can hope for, which again I think is still very much kind of, you know, an absolute shot in the dark, would be a potential replacement like Llorente or someone like that coming to Manchester United. But again, I doubt it. I really do doubt it. Because, you know, there's 20 minutes left of the transfer window. I just don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. If there is something, then that would be probably better than nothing. But at the same time, if there isn't something, then you can't really be surprised. But I would be surprised if... I'm just really surprised that nothing's come out at all. I would think something would have happened, but nothing. Nothing at all, really. Nothing really. Just looking at my phone, nothing really coming up on Twitter or anything like that. Just a lot of angry United fans, and, you know, why wouldn't they be? People are thinking that potentially David De Gea... yeah, so David De Gea potentially is going to be renewing his contract at Manchester United, but at the same time, you know, what can you do, mate? What can you do? To be honest with you guys. There you go. I mean, I don't see any new arrivals, to be honest with you guys. I think it's over. I think it's over. Maxington, where are you personally on the Glazers and Woodward? I mean, for me, Max, I think that you know, Ed Woodward is probably really, really good at securing financial deals, but in terms of transfer business, is hopeless. And even Louis van Gaal came out and said that you know, Ed Woodward is, in terms of financial man, he's decent, but he knows nothing about football. So why we've got him in charge of the football side of transfers and things like that is ridiculous. So that's my thoughts on that, really. There we are. I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, I think we kind of reviewed the transfer window, really, in this stream. But to be honest with you guys, with 18 minutes left of the transfer window, I don't see anything happening. So with that being said, I'm probably going to end it here. But I want to thank everyone who has joined me for this transfer stream. Really do appreciate everyone coming out and giving their opinions on Manchester United transfer window. If anything does happen in the last 20 minutes, I'll be a bit annoyed because I'll go off. But at the same time, I have no faith that anything's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see if anything gets announced. I doubt it, sincerely. Please do, if you're watching as a video as well, please do leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. What would you rate this transfer window out of 10? But anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like if you aren't already, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And we'll see if anything gets announced. I doubt it. I really do doubt it. But thanks to everyone who's joined me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Manchester United season preview with a few special guests on the stream as well. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.